welcome back. This is another multimeter review. Today we're looking at the Victor VC890D. This is a 2000 count multimeter, and it is true RMS. A lot of bang for a buck with this multimeter. It's a 2000 count, like I said. It is not auto-ranging, but that being said, you do get a lot of bang for the buck. Once again, it does capacitance up to 20 megafarad. Now, compared to the Sanwa that I was reviewing in my previous review, the CD771, that only read capacitance up to 100 microfarad. Well, this does a whole lot better. Like I said, 20 megafarad, which is really great for a meter and in this category. Also, it has transistor tester, does up to 20 megohms for resistance. You have a separate continuity feature, which is also nice. A lot of meters, they have the continuity and diode as one. In this case, it's a separate setting. So you also have, as I just mentioned, the diode setting. You have your current range up to 20 amps. And they say it's fused. We'll take a look inside later to see just how well this sucker is put together. You got your standard voltage range up to 1000 volts on the AC. And 750 volts. I'm sorry, 750 volts on the AC, 1000 volts on the DC settings. What do you get in the box? Well, first of all, I never received a box. What I got was simply the multimeter with the orange holster. I think this is actually a pretty good looking multimeter. It's fairly light. I've got no complaints. It does feel good quality though. I'm happy with the way it feels. The holster itself, nice rubber, seems good quality. Now, for some reason, I never received any leads with this multimeter. So for this review, I will be using Sanwa leads. But that being said, I believe this does ship normally with generic leads. Probably your typical Asian. Anyway, let's get this baby dressed. And there you see in all of its orange glory. Alrighty. So what we'll do first, we'll check for accuracy, and we'll see how this does with the voltage reference. Okay, so currently I have the Victor VC890D hooked up to the 8584-M precision voltage reference. And I've got the selector knob switched to the 20 volt range. Once again, this is non-auto ranging, so you have to manually select your voltage. In this case, I've gone up one increment to the 20 volt. So currently, we are in the 2.500 range. And as you can see, the Victor is, well, spot on. Back and forth, but yeah, that's pretty good. And as well, this voltage reference usually should have it running approximately 15-20 minutes. It's only been on for approximately 5. So I'm going to give that extra count to the Victor and say that it's spot on in this case. Let's go now with a 5 volt reference. 5.00 is what the 584 precision is indicating, and look at that, 5.00, spot on for the 890D. Let's go to the 7.50 reference. Wow, spot on again, 7.50. Hey, this is great. Finally, the 10.00 volt, and we're pretty close, 10.00. Well, there you go, back and forth, 0 to 0.1. So hey, in terms of accuracy, so far this has been probably one of the best I've tested with the 8584. Excellent. Good stuff, Victor. I'm impressed. This also does feature the auto power off. So if you hear it start to scream shortly, that's just the audible indicator stating that you can be rest assured that it will power off in about 4 to 5 minutes after you hear that initial beep. The APO indicator is here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to hold down on the selector switch, turn it back on, and you see now the APO is gone, so the auto power off feature has now been disabled. So simply by holding down on the select hold switch, you can actually disable that feature. So that's good, because some multimeters you can't do that, and can get to be annoying, especially if you're on the bench and you have to keep turning your machine, your meter rather, on and off. So thumbs up Victor on this one. Alrighty, so next on the agenda will be resistance. One thing I'll point out as well is that when you do turn the selector switch, you do have that annoying beeper, and unfortunately that is not something you can easily disable. So we will switch to resistance. Now I'm only going to do one resistor today for the Victor, and it's a nice big juicy, I don't know if you can see that or not, and now we're upside down. Anyway, it says 10 mega ohm, so let's see what this baby could do. It's rated for 20. I don't see any problem. Let's try. We will put it to the 20 mega ohm selector, and here we go. And that's taken a while, so let's just try that again. So it's showing us 5 mega ohm. Now we're rated at 10. Try it again. I'm going to put it down and just see if I'm introducing any sort of... There we are. So that was my fault. So there's a good reason why it's good not to hold your components as you're testing them. You're introducing a lot of third-party, let's call it noise pollution. So spot on, 10 mega ohm. Try it one more time. Boom, really fast, 10 mega ohm. Awesome. Good job, Victor. Okay, moving right along. Let's go to capacitance. Now, like I said, this is 20 megafarad. Great. And one thing I will point out as well is you've got the backlight. Now, this does not stay on. Approximately 25-35 seconds, it will automatically shut off. That's okay. At least it's there. Unlike some multimeters that just don't have a backlight, period. Okay, so we're on the capacitance range, and like I said, I'm going to start with my little favorite, 0.1 microfarad, hailing out of Japan. Let's see what we've got here. There we go, 106 nanofarad. Awesome. And I will try your standard 100 microfarad capacitor. There we go, 107.1. And I will just see if I've got a slightly larger and Murphy's Law prevails. I have tested this up to 7,000 to 8,000 microfarad without any problems. So yeah, it works really well. And in terms of capacitance, it's also fairly fast. So no complaints in that department. Okay, so moving right along, we are going to go to continuity mode. If you watch some of my videos, you know I love continuity. So let's see how this baby works. Now once again, I'm not using the standard leads that this Victor ships with. I never received them. Didn't receive the box, didn't receive anything other than the meter. So in this case I'm using the TL25As. Gorgeous leads from Sanwa. And let's see how it is for continuity. Perfect. No pressure. Spot on. And as you can see, not only do you have the audible indicator, you've also got a separate visual indicator. That's awesome. With some multimeters, you do have the visual and audible indicator as well. For instance, the Keysight, formerly Agilent multimeters, a lot of their meters and their lineups tend to have both, but it's the display that flashes as opposed to having a dedicated LED. So I really prefer this method of having a dedicated LED, as do some of the Sanwas and the Hyoki. There's a few. It's a great feature. I think it's something very useful, and I really wish all multimeters had both indicators. Alrighty, so moving right along, we are going to go to diode mode, which we are now in. And I've got two diodes for you guys today. I have the white and the red. So we'll start with the red. It takes less voltage, and we'll see if this baby is readable. Okay, here we go. And there you have it, the forward voltage drop. So all is well in Victor land. Let's head on down to Mr. White diode. Here we go. Nothing on that side. Let's take it around. And nothing. Too bad. I thought we were going to get success here. I don't have any other diodes at this moment. I do have some on order. Blues and greens, what have you. But for this video at least, this is what we're stuck with. So yeah, it does not light up the white diode. Okay. We're not going to bother with the current ranges, but what we will try and test is the transistor. As you can see, we have a special unique, well, not unique, but a little transistor slot on the device. Switch it to HFE, and we will see what kind of reading we get. Okay, so there's something called an HFE mode, which is available on some digital multimeters. You don't see it all the time, but it is on some. And, you know, frankly, I don't mind it, you know, especially on a at least less expensive device. It's kind of a handy little tool that at least I still use. Not too often, but it's nice to have. And it's really simple to use. There's different ways to test diodes. This is probably the simplest. Simply what you do is I'm not diodes, sorry, transistor. Basically transistors are diodes, but this is a whole other story, and I will be doing review at some point on transistors themselves, how they're made, what they're made of, and the different ways to test them. But just for the sake of this video, and we're just going to concentrate on how you test a transistor with the Victor 890D. Find your transistor. In this case, I know it's an NPN transistor. And you simply take it. You've got the NPN and the PNP reading indicators. As I said, it's an NPN, so emitter base collector. Stick it in the appropriate slot. And there you go. And what you see there is a number. And you're looking for a number usually between 1 to 400. And all that means is that the DC current gain, aka the HFE, of this particular transistor is good. So basically, you know you've got a good transistor simply by doing that. Like I said, it's a neat, nifty little feature. Some of the cheaper multimeters, these internal slots are absolutely horrid. On this Victor, it's actually really good. I've got no qualms. It's excellent at what it does. So kudos again, Victor. Job well done. So there we go. We have an excellent transistor. And what I will do next is take this meter apart. We'll take a look at the insides and we'll see just what we're getting. So we're going to turn it off. We are going to take off the holster again. You've got your iconic seal, which doesn't mean a whole lot because it basically stays on all the time anyway. Now we've got 1, 2 screws on top. That screwdriver's a little too big, so I'm going to go step down. It's always great to have a couple of screwdrivers handy dandy by the workbench. Alrighty. Screw number 2. In there pretty good, pretty tight. And 2 more. Okay, so that's what I mean about these seals. It really doesn't seal a whole lot. So okay, so first thing I notice is, hey, we've got some shielding. Hoorah! Good job, Victor. A lot of multimeters, even expensive ones, fail to provide any sort of shielding, which you know, just leads to interference, and you know, measurements are going to be off. So it should be standard on every single multimeter. Cheap or expensive, you need shielding, and this is actually pretty nice shielding. It's seems like to be its machine, so very nice. Little 9-volt battery. Not too crazy about the way it's dangling, but it is what it is, I guess. You've got 2 fuses, glass, and it looks like a ceramic, and not a whole lot on this side of the PCB. Okay, so what I'll probably do is, yeah, you guessed it, take it apart. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are inside, and as you can see, there is not a whole lot in terms of input protection. We've got tiny little current shunt right here. I don't see any PTCs, gas discharge tubes. I don't see nothing else. So yeah, keep this away from the high current. Yeah, not a whole lot in terms of input protection at all. Small resistor array. That's our transistor checker, which is really nicely done, actually. It's in there quite well, really well soldered. In terms of the actual soldering itself, very clean. No complaints here. Very good. A little piezo speaker. This is the on-off switch. I'm not going to go underneath the LCD display. The IC appears to have a gob of gloop on it, so I won't actually be able to tell offhand who the manufacturer is. But yeah, so there you go. All in all, nice, clean. Once again, it is lacking in terms of input protection. You do have those 2 small fuses, but I know I would not feel, wouldn't have that warm, fuzzy feeling if I was going to be using this on the high-powered mains. but for low-level electronics work, it's fantastic. No complaints. And once again, this is a wow, I paid all of approximately $30 Canadian, maybe even less, 28. So yeah, that was a great price. Okay, so I'm going to put this back together and come back with my final thoughts. So closing thoughts for the Victor VC890D. Well, this is a great, inexpensive multimeter. It does a lot. It's not auto-ranging, but that being said, it packs a lot of punch, and I'm quite impressed. The continuity with the separate LED indicator is great. The nice high capacitance range of 20 megafarad is fantastic. Resistance 20 megohm, not bad. I would have liked to have seen perhaps 40, but it's not too often I even measure 10 megohm resistors, so no complaints there. It's true RMS. And what can I say? It's great. The additional transistor, some people may say this is a gimmick. I really like it, and the implementation on the Victor VC890D is fantastic. So kudos to Victor. The downside, the screws are not going into any metal inserts, and you have to take 4 of them off. So if you do blow a fuse, it's going to be a little bit problematic. It was probably one of the harder plastic cases to take off and put back on. So yeah, it would have been nice to see them use metal inserts for the for disassembly. That being said, if manufacturers don't want to go that route, then perhaps they can make the fuses more accessible, perhaps when you remove the battery. It did have a separate battery cover on here, and so that's great. The holster itself is great, feels good, good quality, nice backlight. You can disable the auto power off function, which is also extremely handy. I have nothing but really positive things to say about the Victor VC890D. For a $30 Canadian multimeter, perhaps $25 US, you get a lot of bang for the buck. So for on-the-bench electronics or basic around-the-house work, highly recommended. Would I put this on a high-voltage mains? Definitely not. Alrighty, so this one's going to end on a really positive note. Excellent multimeter, and highly recommended. I'm going to give this Victor VC890D 4 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, keep on testing. Just a footnote. My mistake, actually, I neglected to open the battery compartment initially, and indeed, as you can see, the fuses are readily accessible directly from the battery compartment. Plus, the screw to the battery compartment is a metal insert. So, once again, congratulations, Victor. You made not only replacing the battery, but replacing the fuses extremely simple. So, excellent. Good job. And I just wanted to clarify that before finishing the video. Thanks for watching.